Welcome to an all new edition of Halftime Adjustments. Tonight only, I'm your host, Mr. J. Lou. We got my man G Witt with us, baby. How you doing,
G Witt? Baby. Tighten up.
Yes, sir. The host with the most, Ed, is he's playing with Walt Disney right now. So I don't blame him. He's down there enjoying that weather while we cold here, but you know, he saw that game yesterday, and I think I need some Walt Disney in my life to get over that loss yesterday. So we're gonna you know how the show goes. We're gonna get into it tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're on YouTube tonight, so be sure to like, subscribe, and share the stream. But you know, the Titans off a hard West Coast trip last night, take a L 17-14 in a game that fits the Titans' MO. You think it's going to be a blowout because they have had the past two quarterbacks they played have been the AFC Player of the Week or the Player of the Week for their respective conference. Excuse me. Yeah. And so you just thinking Justin Herbert, one of the up and coming quarterbacks, going to throw all over the place. We have a makeshift defense, DBs back there. We're just pulling guys off the street. But to see it 17-14, that's the type of game that you think the Titans can win. You go down and score, and 51 seconds is an eternity in the NFL, especially when you decide to play prevent defense. And at the end of the day, the Titans, who once was a team that was 7-3, are now sitting ready to go at home 7-7. So, G Witt, talk to me. Give me a couple of your takeaways from the game yesterday.
Oh, well, I think you hit upon all the good points, man. First of all, let's give kudos to the defense because, in all honesty, I did not expect them to be able to hold the Chargers to 17 points.
Yeah.
Basically, really, for the most of the game, they held them to 7. So that just lets you know that you saw the pass rush finally get there. Mm-hmm. You saw some good coverage. Play of the game, Roger McCready with the play of the game. If
yes.
we won, it would have been all over SportsCenter and everything, man. As it was only the number 2 of the top 10 plays. But it really should have been number 1 because that was a heck of a play from a rookie to do that. But overall, the defense, I thought the defense played well, except for that last drive. And, they fell into the same MO that a lot of defensive coordinators fall into. I saw Leslie Frazier do it. You've seen Baltimore do it. I've seen Kansas City do it. If there is more than 20 seconds left to go in the game, and sometimes not even that, you play your regular defense. You don't go into, we're going to play a zone and try to keep them inside, even if they have no timeouts. Play your regular defense because 51 seconds is a long time, and offenses will go straight down the field, especially when you're only winning by the game is tied or you're only winning by 1.
Yes.
All they need is a field goal to win the game. 51 seconds is an eternity. And they will get there in plenty of time to do that. And we saw that happen. But overall, you had to give the defense their credit. I thought Byard showed up real strong. Again, McCready played a great game. And I got to give credit to the defensive coordinator regardless. We're the walking wounded, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
2
years in a row, we're going to lead the league in number of players used. And that's not good. But, give kudos to the defensive staff, man, because they did a great job of who they had. Mm-hmm. You saw Doc Gibbons get in the game and play most of the second half because Cole got hurt. You just keep seeing it happening, man. But I give the defense credit. They're fighting. They're not happy.
No,
Kevin
not
Byard
at all.
let you know. They're not happy at all. And Kevin Byard just kept it plain and simple. He's like, right now, we can't beat anybody. Until we got to get this straight. We can't beat anybody. And we saw that. But, yeah, that's my main takeaway, man. It's just how great the defense played.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, the defense is probably the ones that look like they took these last couple of losses on the chin. We given up 30 points and really in just beat down fashion to both the Jags and the Eagles. So you like to see that, the one thing I think my one takeaway I saw yesterday was we were finally able to generate some pressure with 4 and mixing in a few bringing odd man 5 or 6 a few times, but was finally able to get back to that mix of 4. I think one of the other good things you see in there is I believe Bud played 85% of the snaps.
Yeah.
And Bud's getting healthy. And if we think about this time last year, this is about the time when he started rounding form as we was getting into the playoff mode. So you're hoping that defense and they generated turnovers. We actually won the turnover battle yesterday. So generated turnovers, got some sacks, and they really had Justin Herbert confused. I mean, you go back and I saw the highlight again today. If that he just makes a quarterback move on that throw because Weaver's right there, and if Weaver could just get him and grab it, overtime and who knows. But offensive side of the ball.
Do we really want to talk about that?
Well, I will say this because there's a few good. I think the one thing you see is Derrick Henry, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday had about four runs over 10 yards, bringing him to 7 for the last 2 games, which those are called explosive runs, something that he was not getting at the beginning of the year. So you started to see that come along yesterday. I will say this, until he got hurt, which I didn't hear the injury report on him today, I don't think it's a bad idea to let Dillon play left tackle. The minimum snaps that he got, he held up under pressure, and it's like as soon as he went out the game with his injury, they knew the turnstile was back in there, and they were going on that side of the field. So, and then credit, you got to give credit to just the toughness overall of Tannehill, man. That looking at that injury, I mean, so think about it. My running back from the Colts, Taylor. They just shelved him for the rest of the year with a high ankle sprain. Tannehill's only missed 2 games with bad ankles, basically half the season. So he's doing everything he can, and he made the one bad throw where I think that was a throw where we're pressing to try to get Racey McGrath involved and stretch the field. And to be fair, so we talk about adjustments. We talk about what do they do at halftime, etc. That was the same look that the Chargers gave them before halftime. The difference was before halftime, it was 1-on-1 because the safety came down. The safety faked coming down this time and backed up, and that's where Tannehill already had in his mind that he was throwing it there. And that's just a bad throw. But 4 games in a row that we lost, and you got the Texans coming here on Saturday. So we'll get to the offensive side of the ball real quick. So you look at the first downs, the Titans had 17 first downs yesterday, the Chargers 23. The Titans were 3 of 11 on third down, which continues to be Achilles' heel. The Chargers are 4 for 13. So again, you're making stops. This is the killer. The Chargers were 2 for 2 on fourth down. The Titans as a team are giving up 78% of fourth down conversion plays. So that's just too high. You look at the total yards, 284 for the Titans, 365 for the Chargers. When you look at passing, 157 for the Titans. Tannehill was passing overall was 18 of 26 with 1 interception. Your Chargers was 291 in the air, 6.5 per carry, and they had 2 interceptions. And then rushing yards, we were 127 as a team, averaging 4.7 for the Titans, and the Chargers 74 yards, averaging 3.1. So again, you saw the Chargers, who I said Staley was going to probably outcoach himself because I honestly thought they would have threw the ball more than 42 times. He came in trying to run the ball. They ran, and I think if you go back and look at that first drive that they just ran it down the Titans' throat, I think the defense was caught off guard a little bit because they were expecting them to run. To pass. They come out running. We shut it down after that. So, G-Wick, give me your thoughts on this offensive side of the ball.
Okay, I mean, again, you really hit upon a lot of them, but in all honesty, I agree with you. Kudos to Tannehill. When I saw that ankle injury, in all honesty, I did not expect him to come back in the game. I really did. No. Especially when you looked at how swollen it looked when they were taking him out on the cart. The fact that he got it heavily taped, I mean, he played in pain. He couldn't step into his throws, but you saw him make some good throws in that game. Albeit, I think that last one, when you mentioned about the one that Racey McGrath caught that ended up being the interception, the difference between those 2 plays, in all honesty, Derrick Henry was in on that first one.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's what made that safety bite in on him. And Derrick Henry being out, the safety just played his coverage. I thought Derrick Henry had a great game again. Ran the ball extremely strong. ran over Chig, man. he just knocked him out the way. But overall, I thought he did good. I would say this. I agree with you totally. I thought Dylan played a good game until he got hurt. Still don't, again, Vrabel didn't mention anything about his injury today, so don't know where he stands. But if we can have him back on the field playing left tackle, it's definitely going to show up that side a little bit and give Tannehill a little bit more time. Yes. I thought the running game actually looked better with him in there as well. I thought Chig played a great game, and so did Austin Hooper. I still think that holding call they had on Austin Hooper was bogus.
Yeah,
I think that was bogus. There were a couple of calls I thought were bogus, but on the positive side of the offense, man, on that last drive, he hit Chig and Hooper on those good pass plays, that deep, that crossing route, that glance play we've been talking about all season, that they don't run until they get into situations like this. I mean, he hit Chig on that one. The Chig took off with a good run. So you got to give him props for that, man. It's just really right now, it's the same offense we've been talking about all season. And we've been saying you can't win if you can't score. And averaging 18 points a game, probably less than that now, and only 5 points a game in the second half, it's going to get you. And that's what's caught up with us, in all honesty. In all honesty, that's what's caught up with us. We can't score enough in the first half to hold on through the second half when we know we really are not going to score.
Yeah.
We're leading the league in 3 and outs. I mean, I was surprised the defense played as well as they did, but we did get a couple of drives in, although they didn't amount to anything, where we didn't have to go through third downs. We ended up making first down on like second down. We got a good yardage on first down, ended up making another first down on second down. So that kept us out of those third downs, because a lot of those third downs, man, a lot of the play, I would say this, it wasn't so much the play calling as it was the personnel groupings.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to hit on. It's, they said that Mike Keith on the radio call, and they never showed it on TV, but they said Mike Keith said that Derrick Henry was animated on the sideline a few times.
I'm sure he was.
He 3rd and 2, and you kept hearing the announcers,
James
Lofton, who we've had 5 times this year as the Titans, but you kept hearing him say, I don't understand why this man is on the sideline. As we've been mentioning on the show forever, the threat alone of him being on the field on 3rd and 2, anything 3rd and 4 and under, he should be on the field, because you still have the opportunity of the threat for the run, and the defenses have to respect that. And let's just be honest. I thought yesterday in the last couple of games, this was one of the better running games that we had. They were moving. I mean, the Chargers are last against near the bottom against the rush. And even with them loading up, we were moving them off the ball at the line of scrimmage. So I just think that goes back to the play calling and personnel packages that, Mr. Downing is just not going to change. It's going to be stubborn. I think that you did. Now, again, I know you were limited with Tannehill once he got hurt, but I think the part of the reason with him getting hurt, besides, Dennis Daly over there, is we're not rolling the pocket. We're not moving. He's standing back there and getting pressure right up the middle and from his left side and right up the middle. And that's just no good. So I really, the play calling is, as we've mentioned forever on the show, it continues to be what's dragging this team down. It's sad that you saw it, and I know you can't run hurry up offense the entire game, but you can mix it in. And go back to that 2-minute drill to go tie the game up. Tannehill was 6 for 6. You're in rhythm, and the difference was you included your tight ends. Both tight ends had some great, your number one tight ends, and Hooper and Chig had some great opportunities and made plays for you, because let's just be honest, the receiving core, NWI they left him in Nashville yesterday because he had a case of the dropsies, and Robert Woods is just playing tough, but he's at best your second or third best. So thank you again for joining us on Halftime's Adjustments. Your host for tonight only, J. Lou, G. Witt. Thank y'all for joining the chat. I want to get some of the comments in real quick, G. Witt. Rodney, thanks for joining over there. Rodney Downing is killing me with 3rd and 2 and doing a pass play. Rodney, you preach it to the choir, brother, because we were right there with you.
Like I said, my whole thing, I don't disagree with that, but at the same time, You can run a 3rd and 2, run a pass play, but you got to have your big dog in there.
Yeah, you got
That's
to.
the problem.
Just to have the threat.
You got to have your big dog in there, so at least he's the threat to run and keep the defense honest. Without that, they know you're going to pass the ball.
Oh, yeah. Taylor, let's see. Taylor, Downing's going to cost Vrabel his job. Taylor, thanks for joining us, Taylor. I appreciate our Facebook family coming over. Taylor, part of me agrees with you, and then Amy is the wild card. And I say that about Vrabel. If he somehow pulls it off and they still clinch the division, I think he's safe regardless. I think it gets a little interesting if they lose out. But I think the decision to fire the GM mid-season and put all your eggs behind the coach, I think that buys him one more year. But with that one more year coming, I hope not, that he's not like Malarkey, because I think part of the stipulation will be majority of that offensive staff will be new people next year.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I mean, and you hope he's not. I mean, this will be what the 3rd or 4th head coach if he does that. It does the Malarkey.
Yes,
it's about the 3rd or 4th head coach we've had that just simply refuses to let go of people that he knows are ineffective. Now, granted, today in this press conference, Vrabel said all plays are my responsibility. Well, yeah, of course, you're the head coach. We all understand that. But the bottom line is what you gotta go with is looking at your personnel groupings and everything. What you're putting on the field is just not working
at all.
And again, we was texting back and forth yesterday, and I was like, we said it at the beginning of the season with the defense that we got. If you can average between 21 and 24 points a game, you're going to win the majority of your games.
Yes.
And if you go back and look at, with the exceptions of a few games, and I will say this, if we're averaging 24 points a game, in all honesty, you're in the middle of the NFL pack.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is your defense is playing better because they don't have to be on the field as much. You're having as many 3 and outs.
Exactly.
And see, that's the thing about it. If Vrabel preaches complimentary football, the problem you got is that your defense is doing the job. Your special teams are not bad. Your special teams have their moments where they mess up. We saw Fat Randy miss on that 51-yarder. He didn't even come close to that one. But, you see your punters doing a good job and everything. If your offense could just generate points,
that's it.
If they could get 21 to 24 points a game, you're 9 times out of 10, you're going to win because your defense is holding people down. And especially if you get healthy on defense, which is, and I put that out there yesterday. We were texting each other back. I'm telling you, man, there's something over the Titans right now. Because we're having injuries that just don't make sense.
Yeah,
last year was bad, but this year it just don't make sense.
Well, I don't think that we ever would have thought they'd come close to breaking a record of 91 players the next year.
Yeah,
and they're getting very close to that. A couple more comments. Dion, thanks for joining you. Dion, last minute we had to switch to YouTube, so glad you could join it. What Dion said, he is out on dogging Todd Downing. A dumb dog just don't know how dumb he is. He's putting it all on Vrabel because he's the head man. I'm sticking with it. Dion, I agree. And then Taylor says Vrabel's getting the order at the end of the season to probably let go of Downing. Taylor, I agree. I think that, at this point, from a revenue standpoint, they're hoping they can get to the playoffs because that's another home game at least. And then they got that big vote here tomorrow that probably will go the Titans' way. So you look at that from a stadium standpoint. But it's I heard a lot of pundits on the radio today talking about lose out and draft picks and draft capital.
No.
You as a fan, you never want to say it. I mean, as bad as the Titans are playing, and as bad as they're playing, they still control their own destiny. And that's all that you want to be as an NFL team with 3 weeks left to go. They can lose the next 2. And as long as they win in week 18, you still set out to accomplish what you started. And that's get into the tournament.
Yeah.
And then who knows what can happen after that. But as far as losing out, now you don't do that. So let's talk about the defense real quick before I jump into a few more comments. You had Greg Maben leading the team with 9 tackles. I thought he played okay. There were some times where, and this is what frustrated me yesterday, and we kept talking back and forth. I said it last week if you watched the show. The Chargers receivers only scare you because of their height. Yeah. They don't have anybody that's going to be a burner and speed by you. I thought this was the perfect matchup. And this is when you really miss Fulton, because Fulton is the type that just jams at the line all the time. But this is where I said, if we just play man press, you got a good opportunity, because you take your chance with a 50-50 ball. And I think too many times when we let Herbert get in a rhythm, we're playing 10, 12 yards off the ball. I mean, Maven was playing further than Mitchell.
Maven was playing first down yardage. I mean, at least 10 yards off. He was giving up first down with every play. And I was surprised it didn't go to his side even more. And I agree with you. I think, we saw it yesterday. You saw McCreary playing physical the whole game. It was really his type of game. And that one pass breakup he had behind, I think it was Mike Williams, was really a thing of beauty, where he came through and just knocked the ball out.
Clean. Yeah.
I thought that was really great. He played well. I thought, really overall, I'm not too. The person who's disappointed me in the secondary, in all honesty, is Andrew Adams, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he came in, and don't get me wrong, he came in, learned the system and everything, but the one thing I'm seeing from him more than anything else is really bothering me. He's missing a lot of tackles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
He's missing a lot of tackles.
And he wasn't doing that at the beginning of the year.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't understand, make the tackle. You have plenty of opportunities to make tackles. Now, all of a sudden, you're like, I don't want to make a tackle, or you taking bad angles or whatever the case may be. I'm like, you can't. One thing we know about him, he's not a good cover guy.
No.
He's not a good cover guy, but he's supposed to be good in run support. And what you see out of him is the fact that he's just missing too many tackles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's way too many tackles.
Way too many. I will say another bright spot yesterday, and I think you see it. Monty Rice continues to get better.
Yeah.
He had a one good play on a pass breakup that he had in coverage running down the field. And I thought he played good. You like to see that linebacker depth. It's not fast. We definitely are missing the speed with Long and Cunningham out. But I think they're getting more consistent, because, again, I think Dr. Jack played well yesterday. And then kudos to DeMarcus Walker, man. He's just come here and resurrected his career. Yeah, two sacks yesterday, and that don't even amount to the amount of pressure that he was putting on. And then I thought you saw Big Jeff rounding back into a Big Jeff form. He had a sack, but he was pushing that pocket. And I think they finally called like 2 holding calls, because he's been getting bear hugged all year. But he finally did that. So again, the defense, man, this is one of them games where they, granted, again, at the end, they didn't get off the field when they need to. But you liked that the sudden changes. I don't think the Chargers scored off of our turnover. We had the sudden change. We went back out there and got the ball, and then our turnovers took points away from them. That one before halftime, that's minimum 3 points that the Chargers are getting from there. So again, thank you for joining us tonight on Halftime Adjustments. Your host for the night, Mr. J. Lou G. Witt. Our man Ed is playing in Walt Disney. So we appreciate it. I appreciate y'all joining us, coming over to YouTube. So again, last minute change, but glad you can find us. Let's see if we can get some more comments in here. Dion, going back to the Vrabel comment you made about Malarkey. He said he'll be the third Mike who goes out like that. Munchak, Malarkey, and Vrabel. You're absolutely right. I'll go out like that. Rodney is saying that, let's be truthful, they are playing with heart. I'll say that, Rodney. That's all facts. This team, you don't see this. If nobody heard Kevin Byard's post game in the locker room, go look it up, because that right there alone lets you know that I'm glad he's one of the leaders on this team. This team ain't gonna go out and lay down and quit. I'll be honest, and the announcer said it on the game yesterday. They take after Vrabel as a coach. Vrabel's not going to make the excuses. He's not going to throw anybody under the bus per se until the season's over and make the changes. But his face sometimes, when he kept going out there for injuries after injuries after injuries, it looked like he was like, what else is going to go wrong? And like, you kind of felt bad, because every time you looked up, he was going out for another player. And it's a shame to see what this team can do if they were healthy.
And the announcers were even like, they even said it, man, this is ridiculous.
Yes.
And it's true. I mean, you can't get through a game with healthy players.
No.
I mean, it's like I said, for anybody who's ever seen that movie, and I texted it to Jay Lewis and Eddie yesterday. This is what I'm talking about. If anybody's ever seen that movie, A Perfect Storm with George Clooney, and they're fighting, trying to get out of those hurricanes and those storms, and all of a sudden they see a little break in the clouds, they see some sunshine, they think and you see all the guys below deck, they all reach up to the window like, man, we might make it. Then you see the clouds just come back in, you just see the slump. And George Clooney said, she's not going to let us out. And that's how you feel with this team this season.
Yeah.
You know, this is worse than last year, in all honesty, because it just keeps happening. It's happening in games. It's happening in practice. It's just like there's a dark cloud that's been over this franchise for 2+ seasons with these injuries, and it just simply will not let us out of it.
But not go away.
We can't get away from it. And when they showed that stat yesterday, like we used 80 players and we still got 3 games to go.
Yeah.
You know,
think about that.
Come on now. That's way too many. You talk about overall for the past 2 years, we've used 3 complete different squads.
Yeah. And this is a testament to, I know, for all his downfalls that we say Vrabel has for sticking with Todd and all, this is a testament to him as a coach, because if you go look up the other teams with high injuries like that this year, none of them, I think all of them, have a top 5 draft pick right now.
Yeah.
And we're winning now. We're winning our division. And the folks going to say, well, it's the AFC South. Hey, we can't help it when we play.
It's the NFL, baby.
It's the NFL. Tampa Bay with the greatest quarterback in history is leading their division at 6-8.
6-8.
So, I mean, it's the NFL still. So, I mean, that's a testament to getting them up in that mindset of next man up. But as we said yesterday, and this is why I think partially that J-Rob, had to get out of here now, was a lot of the next man up mentality roster building. When you continue to be cheap and go get practice squad after practice squad after practice squad, it catches up when you think about the folks that you brought up. Adams ain't brought in here to be a starter. He's brought in here to be a backup and role player, right. But you got him playing more snaps. So I will say this about our rookie class, the ones that have played, because, it's the jury's still out on Phillips and Burks if he could just stay healthy. But I think this has been a great season for Roger McQuarrie. But I count this as Weaver's rookie year for Weaver, for Amani Rice and MPF. They're getting great playing time, and they've been thrown into the fire. And, and Chig, I forgot about Chig. Yeah. And the announcers, you always hear about that rookie wall. It looks like they've come over that wall, because they did have a little slump there, but now they're on that backside. You got to think in college, they'd be done by now.
Yeah.
So continue to see them, because I think that Roger McCreary, you can tell he's a student of the game. Last week before halftime, he lets a ball go through his hands. It should be an interception, tip for a touchdown. This time, he makes a heck of a play, possesses the ball long enough to get it to a teammate to stop that. So I think just the little nuances like that has to have you feeling good about the young pieces we got going forward. So we'll switch to the AFC South real quick. So the Colts, the Colts
are done.
They blew the biggest lead in the history of the NFL and lose to the Vikings 39-36. Yeah, they're definitely playing for a top 5 pick. You saw Houston, again, who comes in here this coming Saturday, and we'll preview that in a second. They took the Chiefs to overtime. And it took a fumble, and then the Chiefs were next play to win it. But Chiefs pulled out 30-24. I think Houston's playing very tough. And then the Jaguars yesterday, who are nipping at the heels, they've gotten hot at the right time, got a good young quarterback, young defense, good coaching. Took the Cowboys to overtime, and they were down as much as almost about 17.
Down
17. Down 17 in that game in third quarter. Yeah.
Third quarter, they were down 17.
And come back and win that one 40-34. So when you look at the standings, basically just the top 2 that matters. The Titans are 7-7. The Jags are 6-8. And the Texans are 1-11-1. And so, let's turn the page to this Saturday, Christmas Eve. Probably the coldest game in Nissan Stadium history. It's going to be very close to it. It's gonna be close when you look at the
I'm trying to remember, because I've been to a lot of those freezing
games. Yeah, it's gonna be.
But it's gonna be in the daytime.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The difference is gonna be in the daytime. But you got the Houston Texans coming in. who the Titans did. We saw them earlier in the year, was able to go down and get a win. I believe that was Malik's first start.
It was.
That we got the win that Sunday. So Houston's coming in. It's always a tough game. They've been playing. They've been in every game they played the last two games. Lovey really has them guys flying on defense. And again, you talk about injuries. They got a lot of their key starting rookies and everybody that's not down, and they still took the Chiefs to overtime yesterday. So, Gene, give me some thoughts on this game coming up.
Well, and I watched that game yesterday against Kansas City, man, and it was interesting because I did not realize Lovey is pulling basically a Steve Spurrier over there. He's running two quarterbacks.
Yes,
he's running both Mills and Jeff Cisco. So those are some dynamics you have got to prepare for. They're running the ball pretty well. They're not doing great. You don't have to worry about that battering ram rookie that they have because he's out for the season.
Yeah.
But still, they're running the ball extremely well. Their offensive line is playing good. But the main thing is their defense is playing tough.
Mm-hmm.
That defense is playing really tough. However, the one thing that I would say that the Titans have on them and that the Kansas City Chiefs just couldn't seem to get going is that the Titans do run the ball better.
Yeah, yes.
And again, as been proven, you can run the ball on Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Kansas City actually ran the ball pretty decently on them. They had a couple of bad turnovers, but they ran the ball pretty decent. But we can run on them, I just think really what's going to have to happen is you're going to need another stellar performance from your defense. Mm-hmm. And again, somehow somebody's got to convince Todd Downing that, throwing a pass on a glance play or a crossing route is not going to kill you. And
no,
play action won't kill you. I mean, you like you said, you can't go hurry up all the time, but you can go quick tempo.
You can go quick tempo.
You can go no huddle and get into a rhythm that way. And that helps, not only helps the offense get into a rhythm, but it also helps you get into a rhythm as a play caller.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it. That's why I don't think Todd Downing is that great of an OC. I mean, those little tricks that most OCs know about, he doesn't seem to want to do. Mm-hmm. He doesn't think I'm not going to bring it up. I am going to bring it up. He made the stupidest comment that I heard last week that it just didn't make any sense to me. That, we can't get in the hurry up because we're not doing anything on the first play. Says who?
Yeah.
There's been plenty of times you go and hurry up and you either throw an incompletion or you run and don't get any yards. You can get right back on the line and run another play.
And I think that's what the difference is with hurry up. You can get to the line and then still take 30 seconds to call the play. But if you're not making a sub and you're at the line, you're giving that look like you're going fast and the defense can't sub out.
They can't sub out. And again, if you really want to help your offensive line out, do that.
Yeah.
Because what that does, it wears out that pass rush. They can't rush as strong. Then you give somebody who's stuck in the mud like Dennis Daly, he possibly has a better chance of doing some good pass blocking. Vrabel did bring up something yesterday that we talked about yesterday. And really with that offensive line, of course, we all agree in the offseason, that's job one for whoever's going to be GM or whoever's going to be leading this process. You got to rebuild this offensive line and get some quality players in there. But at the same time, yesterday, you saw some instances where, like Vrabel said, I had to give him credit. There were times when the offensive line was trash. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But there were times they held up well. Receivers didn't get open.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think some of that goes back to your packages that you have in. When you said receivers didn't get open, was Chig in the game? Was Austin Hooper in the game? Were they out on routes?
No.
You got NWI who was dropping passes yesterday that wasn't helping your quarterback out at all. And then you got Robert Woods, and don't get me wrong, Robert Woods is a good play, but Robert Woods is a top end number 2, really.
Right.
He's a top end number 2. So he's not really a number 1. So you got to have a number 1 that's going to be able to draw attention, and that's what Treylon Burks does for us. So hopefully he comes out of concussion protocol this week. Hopefully you get Danico Autry back. We're not going to see David Long. We won't see him until we play against Jacksonville, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so if you get some of those pieces back, hopefully Cole's injury is not too bad. Hopefully Dennis Dylan Radins is not too bad, and he can play more. I thought again, like you said, Jay Lou, I thought he played well yesterday. He had some issues. He gave up. I think he got a holding call on him.
First time he got in, that was home. But I'll take that.
I'll take that. At least if you're holding and keeping your quarterback from getting hit, I can deal with that.
Yeah, you might see Cunningham back this week.
Yeah, we might see Cunningham.
I think
my problem with Daly is that he won't even hold to keep his quarterback getting hit. He's just missing. And and he's not recognizing what's going on. I mean, they call out that 1 sack he gave up. They said Chig was supposed to hold his chip a little bit longer than what he did, but Chig was also supposed to get out in the pass pattern.
In the route.
So you can say he's supposed to hold it longer, but still, your left tackle has got to have better foot speed than what Daly has. Daly has no foot speed whatsoever, and that's really what's killing him.
Agreed. Last time we played this team, I think Derrick Henry went for over 200 because I was teasing that he was going to break the record. I think they'll come in and try to stop that. I just think we can run it down their throat. And this is, be honest, if the running game gets going at the beginning of the game, it's going to be a quick but long game for the Texans because with them temperatures being 10 degrees, you don't want to hit that 250-pound monster. And to your point, we don't have Pierce in there, so you put the ball in Mills' hands and let's see if he can be a playmaker. And this gives your defense. I think it's another game where you want the defense to build on that momentum that they just had. Again, in a loss yesterday, I still think that you saw some things they've done differently than they hadn't done the previous two. So again, Taylor asked, when does Autry come back? So Taylor, he practiced last week. You might see him Saturday. You might see him Saturday. If not, I don't think you see him again until the Jags. Because I can go ahead and tell you right now, as much as Vrabel's not going to say it out loud, he's not going to say what he's thinking out loud. Everybody needs to go ahead and prepare the fact that the Cowboys game on next Thursday is going to be very reminiscent of the Saints 3 years ago in 2019 when we set Derrick Henry and everybody because we really had nothing to play for that game. And then week 18, they went to, last week they went to Texas that time. So, but I think Danico's got a better chance this week. I really think you see Zach Cunningham back up. The wild card is Burks. You hope, again, this is a short week. So tomorrow will in essence be Wednesday for them. So we should be able to see an injury report and they'll actually have a walkthrough tomorrow. So you're hoping that Burks can come out of the concussion protocol. You're hoping that you can see Amani Hooker come back as well. So if you can continue to get some pieces back, I think it'd be good. Let me get a couple more comments in. Dion, we got to investigate the strength and conditioning coaches to find out what's going on in there. Dion, I agree.
You've been saying that.
Even if you think that they're not the problem, you have to get rid of them this year and just change something up. Because 2.5 years in a row with soft tissue injuries. Now, again, the Tannehill injury, that's football play. Getting his leg rolled on, but the hamstrings, the pulls, all the soft tissue injuries, that goes back to training. Dion, again, Chig is a superstar waiting to break out. Dion, I couldn't agree more. He looks like he's going to be the real deal, and you've got to find a way to manage your offense and get him included. We mentioned it earlier in the season. It might have been preseason, if not right at the beginning of the season, when they talked about we don't scheme players to get open. You need to change that philosophy because I think you need to scheme some plays. Chig should have 6 to 7 targets a game. When Burks is back, he should have 7 a game. That's 14 to 16 targets between those two a game. And I think that's a recipe for success.
Well, and the thing about it is, in all honesty, man, I agree with you. And you got to start switching up these personnel packages that you have. And that's the biggest problem you got right now.
Oh, yeah.
These personnel packages are really what's killing you because they really are tipping your hand as far as what you're going to be able to do as far as your offense is concerned. But one thing I will say, going back to, I think, to your point, I think if we win Saturday, then you see the Dallas game where people don't really play. Mm-hmm. If anybody's got any banged up, then he's going to need them against the Jags. He'll hold them out. But that's all predicated on us winning Saturday. Yeah. I think if we don't win Saturday, you'll see him play people that are on the edge as far as injuries are concerned, because we still got to have that game. We still got to have it. I mean, even though the game if we lose the next two, the game against Jacksonville will be a play-in. You still want to have that game against the Texans, man. And then, like you said, you can rest players against Dallas because it's a non-conference game. So it's not going to affect your playoff status either way. And then you can be ready to play against Jacksonville. You want to win all three. But
glad you brought that up, because another question: do you think the Titans will win another game? So I know, G. Witt, you said it a couple weeks ago that as long as Todd Downing was calling plays, we wouldn't win another game.
We weren't going to win because Todd Downing we're not scoring.
I think so. So I'll turn at it before I give my answer on that one. I'll answer Dion's next question I got from Dion is, can we afford to lose any games before the Jags? So yes, Dion. So with the Colts having the choke job of the century Saturday, what that in essence did for the Titans is, worst case scenario is week 18 has to become a play-in game. So if we lose the next two, we go into that game 7-9. If the Jags win their next two, they're 8-8. That game becomes for the AFC Championship. The winner that is the AFC champion. AFC South champion. So we could lose as long as you win week 18. Now, I think the Titans find a way. I think they find a way to pull out two. I really do. I think they get the two AFC games. I think, let me rephrase that, because technically Saturday, you can know how important the Dallas game is before you play Saturday, because the Jags play this Thursday.
Yeah.
And if the Jags somehow lose to the Jets, then you just need to you have to beat the Texans on Saturday and beat Dallas on Thursday, and you clinch the division, where week 18 is null and void, and it doesn't matter about week 18. So that's another scenario in there. But I think to answer the question about do we win another game, I think they win Sunday. Now again, they're Saturday. I mean, they're a 7-point favorite, which Vegas is just begging you to put money on the Texans. In fact, because I don't think we beat them by 7 points. I think it's a close game, because that's just how they are. But I think the running game alone, I think Derrick Henry will not allow us to lose this game. Forget play calling, forget whatever. I just think that he won't allow us to lose this game. I think the running game, if it's me, I think I go in with a better package for Malik this game, because I think in the short term that he played yesterday, I thought he played a little. He's gotten better. Yeah. But I would almost, I don't know with the short week, because that 1 day in NFL days makes a long difference. I don't know how healthy you can get Tannehill. And I know somebody put Nate, thanks for joining us, Nate. He put on there with Tannehill at 30%, the Titans aren't winning another game, in my opinion. I hear, and he was talking about you need mobility with Daly. He hit on what I was going to say. Tannehill becomes a sitting duck behind that line even more if he can't move. So I really think this is a game where you lean on the running game. You institute the short pass game, which Malik can do. And I think if it's me, I sit Tannehill here. If you're playing a long game and you know you need him healthy in week 18 and playoffs beyond, I think this is a game where you can sit him and rely on your defense and that running game to keep you in it.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think based on the way he got it back in the game yesterday, I think,
we know that was a shot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but he said his pain was it
was 11.
Like 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Something like that. But I think really they're gonna have a hard time keeping Tannehill out of this game, in all honesty.
Oh yeah.
I will say this, and even Vrabel commented on it, Malik was the most comfortable in this game than in any other game he's played in.
Yes.
You saw that. You saw him when he didn't see what he had, he took off running. The thing we have to be careful about, and I'm going to bring this up because it's so surprising to me. Derrick Henry and his ball security, man. What is going on?
Yeah.
I mean, he
did have a friendly fire fumble yesterday.
Yeah. But you're talking about a guy who basically played, 3 straight years with no fumbles?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden and when the team is basically, he had 2 last week, he had 1 yesterday, he had 1 against Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's an epidemic for him, and that's unusual. So I'm wondering really what's going on with him and his ball security.
I think a lot of it has to do with him pressing. It's just me being honest. I think, and again, I think that's something he can clean up. But I think a lot of that is him. Think about the one in Cincy. He finally breaking one thing he's for the score because he hadn't done it, and you loosen up. The one last week, you think you're breaking through, loosen up a little bit. Now I know he had 2. I don't count I think the snap one should be that should be on the center.
That's just a dumb play call.
Yeah, but and then again yesterday it would have got punched out. Now, granted, it was friendly fire because your own lineman, your tight end that was blocking, kind of his shoulder pad went into it. But to your point, still that lack of ball security there because it would have been punched out. So I think that's him. If he stops pressing, I think that's something that he can get on it. And what you would call Rodney just agreed with you, G. Witt. He said that about Henry, you hit it on the head with Henry and the fumble. So
yeah, it's just one of them things that really is starting to stand out because I'm like, all of a sudden you're getting like Zeke, like your boy Zeke at the Cowboys, you got fumbleitis. And it's just unusual. And the reason it's shocking me because it's so unusual. Like I said,
Taylor said Henry's fumbling is him being rebellion against Todd Downan's play calling.
Well, he's been rebellious because you've never seen him yell at offensive linemen before. He's been doing that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And going off on the sideline and everything. But, yeah, I think they can win Saturday. In all honesty, I really do. I think they will. But, again, I think they got to do something about this play calling situation because these 3 and outs are killing them, man.
Yeah.
You're leading the league in 3 and outs.
Yeah, it's the one saving grace you got is at least your punter, and he did a better job as they flipping the field. And again, you see the speed on the gunners, and I thought they did a better job. The hang time was a little better yesterday, but he was booming 60 after 60 after 60 yarders yesterday. But he doesn't need to be in that position. Because to your point, we need to have drives where you're sustaining and getting down the field. So I want to thank you all again for joining us here tonight on this episode of Halftime Adjustment. This has been your host for the night only, Mr. J. Little, my man G. Witt. Ed will be back with us next week, of course. We thank all of you for tuning in, for jumping over to YouTube. Again, apologies about the last minute, but definitely like the show, subscribe to the YouTube page as well. We try to mix and match with our audience on here. So we appreciate the Facebook fam joining over. That's to you, Dion. Dion, we'll let you know next time ahead of time when we coming over to YouTube. But check us out again. We'll put the time out there for next week. With Christmas, don't know if we'll do it Saturday evening or how we'll do that, but just stay in tune for when we post that. But everybody have a happy holiday.
Absolutely.
It's your man, Mr. J. Lou, G. Witt, and we're out of here. Peace.